All right, this is episode 3 of the JMCC podcast. And Terrence again, Walter.
I guess.
We're gonna start off this episode talking about fighting crossovers. Recent ones were Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah.
Tekken Cross Street Fighter. I don't know if Namco's still doing that.
I haven't heard anything about it. Maybe.
It's basically how Street Fighter Cross Tekken was like Street Fighter. This one would be more like Tekken, so it'll have more of the
It'll be
3D
like
fighting
the
stage.
Tekken engine,
Yeah.
Okay.
Crossover games. I'm mostly only familiar with Marvel vs. Capcom. Like I actually haven't even played Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I've mostly just seen it.
Okay.
But I like crossover games just because it's kind of cool to have, the clash of characters, things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
Sort of like just like in comics when characters team up. It's kind of like that. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. I guess the first crossover game I had was X-Men versus Street Fighter for Sega Saturn. So that was one of the first ones I played, and that's basically Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is them putting like basically all the sprites together from all of the Capcom fighting games, I feel like, into one game, which is why some of the sprites look drastically different. Like Morgana looks really weird in that game. But then there was Street Fighter versus SNK versus Capcom, and then SVC Chaos, which was actually the first. That it wasn't the first crossover, but I think that was the first case where you saw, or that I know that I remember. There could be other ones, so don't get angry with the internet. But it was the first one where they made one game. Capcom made one game, and SNK made one game. So. The SVC Chaos was interesting because they used sprites for the Capcom characters that were more reminiscent of the Street Fighter 2 looking sprites, like the way that they stood. Yeah. And they actually had they had Evil Ken in that game as well. And that was, I think, the first time I saw Evil Ken, like outside of Mugen. And Mugen is like I don't know exactly. Mugen's like
the downloadable.
The
PC
downloadable
game. Yeah, I have that.
and you can actually make your own characters for that. So
if you've never heard of Mugen, you should definitely download that. It's pretty much the ultimate crossover game. It's a PC only. It would be crazy. It would be cool if it somehow got on consoles, but
that would be cool. But
it's a PC game. You can download it, and you pretty much download any characters you want. Like I had one where I could fit like 400 characters.
Oh wow!
And I have you can have like anyone. Like it was Powerpuff Girls. I had like Fred Flintstone. I had like 3 Gokus. Like I had one that went like Super Saiyan 5. Like all types of crazy stuff. But it's really cool if you get some people really make cool characters just like any game where you can have custom levels. It's the same thing where you have some people will make really great custom characters.
Yeah.
And you can also download levels and things like that. So if you've never heard of it, you should definitely check out Mugen.
I've actually never got to work on my computer. I tried.
I remember I used to play it a lot in high school before I had this laptop. But, it was pretty fun. The only thing is that you actually have to learn how to add the characters yourself, and it's like if you forget, you have to learn it all over again. I don't remember it being too hard. It was kind of like you just go through the list and type in some stuff, and just like basic code, really.
Okay.
But that's a really cool game.
Yeah.
I think the first crossover game I played was probably Marvel Superheroes, which was, obviously it's just all the Marvel characters crossing with each other. But that was a pretty fun game. It was, I think, just before, on the screen. It was like just before they did Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I think it was like leading right up to it because the characters from that, I think they took like right into, because they had Venom in that, and I think he's almost exactly the same.
Yeah, because I feel like the first one that I know of, I never owned this game, but there was this game called X-Men Children of the Atom, which is where most of the X-Men characters that are in the Marvel vs. Capcom games, the older ones like 2 and before, come from. And then there was Marvel Superheroes, and there was X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and then there was Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and then there were the Marvel vs. Capcom games. And then the newest one, of course. I have that one. I'm not very good at it though. Whenever I get a fighting game, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and learn how to play, and I can play a little bit. I can do some basic combos, you know, when I go through the kind of command list, but for the most part, I'm not very good. But yeah, I do have fun playing them.
Yeah, me too. I got, you have Ultimate, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
Ultimate.
well, we both have Ultimate.
Yeah.
Obviously Capcom, you know, dealing with them lately, as far as Street Fighter and Capcom, or NBC,
Yeah.
them doing like the super versions and the arcade edition for Street Fighter. They have like 3 versions of that one.
Yep.
You know, it
I have
really,
2 of them.
yeah, like it really makes people angry. Like I bought Street
Yeah.
Fighter 4 when it first came out because when that came out, before Street Fighter 4, it had been like,
Yeah.
it had been a long time
That was
since
like-
another Street Fighter had even come
I
out. It
think
had
that
to have
was,
been like
yeah.
5 to 7 years or something like that.
Yeah, I think the last one was Street Fighter 3.
It wasn't Alpha 3.
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike,
yeah.
I think.
The last one I played was Alpha 3, which was
Mhm.
really sweet. But
Yeah.
I sucked at that, just like I suck at regular
Yeah,
Street
yeah,
Fighter.
yeah,
But you know, they're fun games, and so you buy them,
yeah.
and then they come out with Super Street Fighter 4, where you have all the characters unlocked, and they added Ibiki
DJ, Ibiki,
and Cody.
Dudley, and Cody.
Yeah, which I hated, because I wanted Cody. That was like the one character I liked him the most from
Yeah.
Street Fighter Alpha 3, and then they
Okay.
added him, and I was like, man, that's like the one guy I actually wanted in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
But they did that, and they added all this extra stuff, and you know, they changed the difficulty, because like fighting Seth was impossible. It was like completely stupid.
Yeah,
Dealing
yeah.
with him. Like I couldn't actually fight him. I had to just like jump and
Okay.
kick or do
Yeah.
a random like spam, a random good move, because it was too hard for me to beat him as a
Yeah.
normal player unless I had like soccer.
I don't know how hard Seth is hard, but like Gil from Street Fighter 3, I had trouble with him. And then of course all the really good people think that all these bosses are easy, but I'm not
Yeah,
very good.
I mean, yeah.
And then like the SNK bosses, some of them are pretty crazy. The King of Fighters final bosses, but yeah, like all of them are kind of super cheap. But yeah, I guess in terms of Street Fighter Alpha, I think I had 2 maybe. I had 2 for Sega Saturn a long time ago. But I guess recently, or more recently, I think they had an anniversary edition of Street Fighter that
Yeah.
came with Third Strike and I think Street Fighter 2 Championship or Super Street Fighter 2
Yeah, it's
Championship
like,
Edition, something like that.
Yeah, the Super Street Fighter 2 HD remix, I believe, came in the collection or something like that.
I think
think
it's
that's
actually
what came
before HD maybe it was an HD remix, I don't remember.
I don't know if they put that in the collection, but I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
before that was the HD remix, and I played the demo of that, and it was also kind of hard because it was still like Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo,
Yeah, yeah.
where it's just, you know, Hadoukens flying at you until
Yeah,
you
yeah.
jump, and then it says Shoryuken and you can't do anything. But
Yeah, yeah,
you know, Capcom dealing with them in like Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom. I think we talked about this when I mentioned the downloadable characters.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Because I got back into it recently, just playing it over again to
Yeah.
get the endings and stuff. And I thought, you know, I'll download Jill and Shumagora because I really wanted Jill because I like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I think I said exactly this last time. But,
It's okay.
but yeah, you know, it was like $5 per character. I thought it would be like $3,
Yeah.
which is still kind of a lot, but
Yeah.
it just seems a lot more reasonable than 5 to me, even though
And
it's
she
only
plays
2.
nothing like Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah, because I remember when I first saw the video,
Yeah.
I hated it because she reminded me of Cammy so much.
Yeah.
And it made sense that they changed her because
Yeah.
of
Resident
5.
Evil 5, yeah.
But I wanted it to be like in 2, it was a lot cool. Like I can really use her in 2, like I'm really good with her.
Yeah, yeah.
And it would be cool if they had it where basically she was the one who like used the monsters and stuff, and then Chris used the guns, because that's pretty much what he does. And so
Yeah.
she still could have been like the exact same character,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and just use, you know, the zombies and everything else.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, because I'm sure they'll do another one.
I imagine so. But I mean, DLC for Capcom isn't just, I think, isn't specifically just fighting games though, because I feel like
Yeah,
there are
there's-
multiple versions of Resident Evil 2, right? Or
Yeah,
Resident
they
Evil.
have Resident Evil 5 has gold edition, and that was a long time. That wasn't like Street Fighter or
Okay.
NBC because that was like not 3 months. It was like 9 months or something.
Okay. Was the gold edition just all the DLC up to that point in the game, basically?
Yeah, that was. I don't think they had any more after the
Oh.
gold edition came out. I think that really was the end of it, and they had all the DLC.
Well, yeah, that is kind of different because
Yeah.
a lot of games, once they are done developing DLC, will release a new version of the game with the DLC.
And I'm pretty sure that's what they did, unless they added. I know there's a versus mode in 5. I don't
Yeah.
know if that was in the gold edition or not, but I didn't even know that was a thing until recently because I got it for a 6.
Okay.
And I don't think they're gonna do a special edition of 6,
Okay.
but like I bought all the DLC when they had like a special bundle for it
Okay.
and stuff like that. But
If they have DLC, they might. But like
Yeah,
at this
it
point, I like
probably
wait
will.
to buy games until after the DLC comes out, so I can just buy the game and the DLC at once.
yeah,
Like that's what I did for Mass Effect. So
yeah, some games I don't know. It's like some games you really want to wait, but you just can't.
yeah.
Like Batman, like I have the first one, the special edition or whatever, because I didn't have a PS3, and they had the Joker maps were exclusive, so I was like, I won't get this until I can get it on PS3 because I really wanted the Joker maps.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the time I got one, I was able to get the special edition, so it has like the 3D and all that stuff. It's pretty
They
cool.
have that too.
And then 2 came out, and I just instantly bought it, and now they have like the Harley Quinn stuff, and you can play as Nightwing and Robin.
And Robin, yeah. Yeah.
But those are just challenge maps, so it's not like if you could do free roam with both of them, just like with Catwoman and stuff, that would
Yeah.
be a bit different.
That would be really cool. But yeah. Oh yeah, and I think with Catwoman, if you bought the game used, you couldn't play as Catwoman.
Yeah, you have
Like,
to buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I try and buy all my games new. I think I probably said that as well. But yeah. Anyways, anything else with fighting games?
There's not much. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really all I can really think of is Marvel vs. Capcom as far as
Oh.
crossovers. Like it's mostly Capcom is
Yeah.
involved if there's a crossover style game because they can pull from such a wide universe, just like Marvel could. There is DC versus Mortal Kombat, which unfortunately didn't work out too well because they made it teen instead of mature.
Yeah.
And I feel like if that was, if that was mature like
Mhm.
regular Mortal Kombat, I think it would have been a lot more fun, and
Okay.
people would have enjoyed it, way more than they did.
Well, it must have just done fairly well because they made Injustice, which is
Yeah.
like the same thing without the Mortal Kombat characters, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It has its own style. That's not exactly like Mortal Kombat, but
Oh,
it's still a good game. Like I only played the demo, but I had fun with it. There's just a couple of things that were annoying, like all the intros and outros were like exactly the same every time, so that
Yeah.
got annoying.
okay.
But as far as DC versus Mortal Kombat, it was like I didn't play the whole game of that either, but I know it had like the actual story, kind of like the new Mortal Kombat did.
Okay.
So it had an actual story where
Yeah.
you play through and it would do the cutscene and then they go into the fight.
Yeah.
And so they kind of carried that over into 9 and now
Yeah.
Injustice. So I thought that was pretty good.
Well, I think Nether. Oh yeah, if we're gonna talk about fight game stories, I think NetherRealm and like maybe SNK play more, but really NetherRealm is they do the best job, or in recently that they've done the best job to actually try and make a coherent storyline. For the most part, the storylines aren't anything to write home about. But I was just thinking that in Soul Calibur, in the more recent releases or versions of the game, they usually have one character that's from outside of that world. Like I remember Soul
They
Calibur.
had like Ezio for the one before last, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know if they have anyone in the latest one.
I don't
can't really
know.
remember.
Maybe not. And one of the games they had Darth Vader and then Yoda.
Yeah, that was 4. I had 4. They have
Okay.
if you got it on the Xbox, you had Yoda, and if you got it on PS3, you got Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before Force Unleashed came out, so you also got Starkiller as a
Okay.
character. And that was like my favorite thing was playing as him because that was like months before the Force Unleashed had first come
Yeah.
out. So you
I
got
played
to
the
play
demo.
as him.
It was okay.
Yeah, like I really enjoy. I have the first one. I didn't get the second one yet,
Yeah.
but I'll probably get it. I don't know. I wanted to get the special edition, but now it's like a bunch of money because I didn't get it when it was like $20. 20 on Amazon. So it's like a bunch because there's only like one left. But
Okay.
it was like before he came out,
Mm-hmm.
before the game came out, so you got to play as him, and that was really cool. And they had the Star Wars space levels and stuff.
Okay.
Um,
I think in the installment before that one, there was one where I think on the Wii you got Link, on the PS3 you got Heihachi from Tekken.
that was during PS2. So it was the
PS2,
GameCube,
PS2,
PS2,
yeah. GameCube,
and
PS2,
Xbox.
Xbox was Spawn,
Yeah.
I believe.
I had the GameCube version. Link was really cool. It was kind of easy to fight with.
Yeah. I had Heihachi. It was.
Yeah, I didn't really. I think I had a PS2 before I had a GameCube, and I was like, I don't want.
Nobody.
I was like, it's Heihachi. It's like, like I love Tekken, but it's like, why would I?
Yeah,
put
Soul Calibur and Tekken
a basic
are
character.
somewhat similar. They're both produced by, or I don't know
But
if they're
Namco.
Namco, yeah, Namco.
But it's just Tekken hand to hand, but Soul Calibur weapons, and it was just like, why would I want Heihachi in it?
Yeah,
I think I remember I played as Spawn at like the Hollywood Video.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. I didn't play it too much as him, but ultimately I got the GameCube version with Link.
Okay.
Tekken did a crossover with Naruto actually when they did I want to say Ultimate Ninja 2, or it might have been Generations. I don't know. I haven't gotten any of them yet, unfortunately. Like I love the games, but I just haven't bought a single one.
I understand.
But yeah, they had Lars in it, who's like the main character now.
Yeah, he's
He's
new Mishima. Actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in it, and they have him. It's one of his actual costumes from Tekken 5 or 6 or whichever one.
Yeah.
And it's like sort of like
the red one.
Yeah, it's not like this suit. It's like the one that's kind of like a dress, almost a sort of a kimono style.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he wears that one, and it fits more into the Naruto style than his regular suit with like a giant silver lion face on the front.
Yeah. Have you played that Project X game? Or
No, I looked up videos for it because I saw it at GameStop.
Yeah.
It's not what I thought it was. It's not a fighting game.
Yeah, it's not. It
It's
looks
like
like
a
a-
RPG actually.
It's an RPG, but I guess the fighting animations look like a fighting game,
Yeah,
which I feel like is really
Yeah,
deceiving.
Yeah. If you haven't heard of it, Project X Zone, I believe, you can look it up. It has a bunch of characters from, I think are they all?
They're not.
Capcom? Okay, they're not.
They're like maybe anime. Okay, there are Tekken characters in it, so Namco.
Yeah.
Frank West, I believe Mega Man's in it, so that's
I know
Capcom.
Dante and Jill are in it
Dante
too.
and Jill, Arthur from
Ghost of Goblins.
Ghost and Goblins, yes. And lots of other ones. But yeah, I just read a review about that today actually. And I thought it was a fighting game. So
But yeah, Project X Zone, if you check it out, I remember I watched the trailer a few weeks ago. It's like 9 minutes long. It's just all in Japanese, but yeah, like you see the picture, it seems like a straight up fighting game, but it's really like a RPG, and you pick your group, and I don't know if you control them. I think it's just like Final Fantasy, or like old Final Fantasy, I guess, like a classic turn-based RPG.
I just want to play it so that
it
I know how
it does
works.
still look pretty cool. I mean, they're like 8-bit sprites almost, or like not 8-bit, but probably like 16-bit. And then they do like their style, their like special attacks, and they have like the background animations where they have like full basically anime style art. And they're doing like all these combo attacks, and it's really over the top, but it's kind of simplified animations, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
But that's a big crossover game that just came out. I don't think there's much else as far as I can really think of.
There are probably other. Well, yeah, there are probably others, but yeah, I can't think of any other ones.
All I ever really think about is anything with Capcom in it, and SNK, of course, still Capcom. Yeah, Tatsunoko versus Capcom, like everything, just Capcom stuff. Tatsunoko versus Capcom I like because that's probably really the only one with pure anime characters
Yeah, like
in a crossover fighting game.
Kairos, was that the movie?
Yeah, that was a cool movie.
you should
Kairos the
watch
Prophecy,
Kairos.
that was pretty sweet. There are 2 of them.
Oh, I've only seen one.
Yeah, it's like the first. I don't know if they have multiple versions, but the first one is like all action, and then
Yeah.
the second one has the story pretty much. So you kind of watch them together,
Okay.
and they make more sense.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They had Cash Earn. They had like the original Cash Earn because I remember when I first played it, I was watching Cash Earn Sims when I was on Toonami.
Yeah.
But it's like the original version. Then they had like the robot from Lost Planet, so that was of course from Capcom.
They
Some
had
other
the,
anime characters.
I think they had the main character from Rival Schools as well.
And they
which
had
is,
Tekkaman
Yeah.
and some other characters I'm not completely familiar with, but
Yeah.
that was a pretty good one. Like I'd enjoy if there was a new, or if there was like an anime style crossover game, like which they have. They have like all the ones, of course, they're only in Japan, but they have the basic shonen ones where it's Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and
Oh, I
One
played
Piece.
so many Dragon Ball Z. I haven't played a One Piece one yet.
Yeah, it's all three of them. It's on GameCube, and I can't really remember. It might be in English. They might have made an American version of
Shonen
it.
Jump game or something like that.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
they
it's
have
like
the rights
all.
to do that.
Yeah, it's like all three of them, and they're all fighting and stuff. And then of course there are a ton of Flash games you can play. Like I remember, I played when it was Naruto and Bleach, and that one was actually pretty cool. You know, little simplified games, but they're pretty fun to play.
Yeah.
But like as far as a big budget anime style crossover game, we don't really have one of those.
I think that okay, so JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is getting a game, and I believe that game is done by Capcom because it looks like Street Fighter 4. It has the similar kind of art style. But so there are, and then what is it? Dynasty Warriors makes a lot of anime.
I didn't know that.
Right. So they have Gundam and they have Fist of the North Star. And Fist of the North Star and Gundam were actually released stateside. Not all of those games get released stateside, but those two did.
The Dynasty Warriors Gundam and did the second Fist of the North Star come out already? That was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a while ago, but I don't know. I like playing demos of that game because the
Yeah, it's
demos
really
of
a
those
simplified.
Yeah.
It's really just like if you play Dynasty Warriors,
Yeah.
you don't have to play the Gundam Dynasty Warriors unless you
Yes,
like Gundams.
exactly.
It's the same thing except you're floating and you still have a barrier like you're on the ground.
But I can't really play any Dynasty Warrior games for an extended period of time.
I used to play those all the time.
Oh,
I think
really?
up until really only until 3 came out, but my
Yeah.
cousin he'd have like every single one, and I don't know why, but
Yeah.
he bought like every last one
Yeah.
until he like stopped really playing games. But yeah, like up till
Mhm.
7 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they still make them. They're on like they gotta be on like 12 or more than that.
Yeah.
But
There are crossover racing games too, right? Well, or does that count? Like I feel like
it's not
Sega
really.
had a racing game.
oh, the
They had,
Sega All Stars.
Yeah, right. Because
They had Wreck-It Ralph in that.
Oh, okay.
I think that's really
technically,
that's technically a crossover.
And that was like Sonic and like Virtual Fighter and other
Yeah.
things like that.
And Virtua Fighter is in Tekken, in one of the Tekken games.
Yeah, and there are Virtual Fighter characters in Dead or Alive.
That's what it was. It wasn't Tekken.
Okay, yeah. But Tekken does with the customization, they do put in items, like a series of items that if you put them together, you'll get a character that is familiar. Like you can make a Bruce Lee costume for one of the characters that uses kind of like his version of Kung Fu. Law, yeah.
There's a new Tekken. I don't know if you've heard of it. Tekken Revolution.
I've heard of it. Yeah, it's online, isn't it?
Yeah. If you ever heard of that, it's a free downloadable Tekken game. I downloaded it as soon as I heard about it. I haven't played a Tekken game. I guess since 5 or 6. I really can't even remember which one it was. I borrowed it.
What number they're on?
Like I borrowed it
all of them since
from.
Tag.
Yeah, I borrowed it from James and I played it, and I was surprised to see the new story style. It's an actual story now and not just you fight like 12 people and you have an opening and an ending.
Yeah.
Except for certain parts of the game, they still have that, but there's an actual story mode, and I think that's pretty cool that they pretty much added that. You know, it gives you the classic Tekken experience. Plus, we added like a new good story.
They have like a 3D thing where you can kind of move around.
And the Tekken Revolution, they just passed like 1 million downloads to do like a special thing now. And it starts off, you only have about 12 or so characters. You have like Asuka, um, Lars is in it, a character named Leo who I'd never seen. You have to unlock her, I think it's a girl. Alyssa's in it and you can unlock her. I unlocked Brian. I don't really know how to unlock characters. You get like gift points, but you can't pick them. Like I just unlocked them once, so I don't know how it really works. But they just added Jean and Ling Jiawu, if that's how you say it. That's how I remember it from Tekken 3. But they just added both of them. The Chinese
girl, yeah, that's friend with the panda.
Yeah, and they added, or they have Kazuya in it too. And it's classic. You can do arcade battle, and you get coins for a certain amount of plays. So every day you sign in, you get like a sign-in bonus. You can get a new coin, and a new like premium ticket, which is to play online, I guess. And you know, you have classic arcade. You have regular battle matches that you can join in. You can start a session or join a session like any classic game, and you can get into the lobby and watch if you're the next player, or watch even if you're not. You can watch the match. But one thing I hate, I made a match, and every time someone joins in, if you made the match, you get put down. So like I was the next person to play, and then like 2 people came in and it put me all the way to the bottom.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was so mad. I was like, I would stay in because people were playing, but it was like after that happened like 3 times.
And then you have to stay in, or the whole group gets disbanded. Right?
Yeah. So like after the match ended, I was like, it happened like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, I haven't played a match, and I've just been watching a bunch. So I just stopped doing it because it didn't make any sense that you get put down. But other than that, it's pretty cool. They have ranked matches too, and you go up in experience. You can get points that you can put towards character attributes. It's like endurance, power, and vigor. I don't know what vigor is, but obviously endurance is strength, or endurance is like health, and then and then power is strength. And you get money for every match you win, and complete an arcade a certain amount of times. You get tickets and points and stuff like that. And it's actually pretty cool. You go through and you can just play Tekken whenever you want, really. And it's a nice little experience. Like it would be pretty cool if other companies started to do that, like a smaller version. Because it doesn't have like openings or endings or any sort of story. It's just arcade and online matches. But it's actually really sweet.
I still want to play Tekken Tag 2. I didn't even play
I haven't played that either.
I'm waiting for the price to go down. I don't think.
How much is it? It's not still 60, is it? It can't possibly be 60.
I don't think it
that
should
last
be.
year?
I think it was last year, so it should have gone down probably.
It should be like 40 or 30 by now. It shouldn't be anything.
But I love the Tekken series. Any other fighting games? I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Yeah, not much I can think of. Like I said, I wish it would be cool if somebody or if they did a new anime style shonen game. That would be nice. Something we could actually get in the States. Any sort of fighting game. Like we could get something old, new in the States. That'd be pretty cool because we don't get a bunch of the stuff that we don't, or that we want to have.
That's true. I don't know. I can never tell, because I guess the reason why they don't port it to the States is because they don't feel like, I guess, they'll make enough money to justify that, and then people in the States do import their games from Japan. Right.
I feel like something that companies could do is, I think downloadable would be really easy. I know it costs to even just put your games, on the market because it's just like retail space, but I think it would be a lot easier to have it, you put it out digitally. It costs you less money, and you could get it out to all the fans that still want it, just like
I think they are starting to do that, right? I think the Neptunia games, which are, it's like a hard, not hard difficulty, but it's a very JRPG-esque JRPG, you know what I mean? Not like a Final Fantasy. I believe that's available for download. You can buy physical copies of that. I have a friend, Chris, who I believe has, I don't know how many there have been. There have been a lot. Maybe, I don't know, over 2. So maybe 2 to 4. I feel like, I'm not sure. So
That's not a lot, really.
it's not
I
a
wouldn't
lot,
consider
but I
that a
feel
lot.
like the first time I heard about Neptunia was like a year, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
It's like one a year.
Yeah,
or
something like that. But yeah, it's not graphics intensive though, so that kind of makes sense.
Wasn't Ikaruga?
Ikaruga?
It's like I can't really think of how to explain it. Kind of like, excuse me. Like Galaga has that sort of visual style to it, but you're moving through the space, and it's where you can switch your ship from red to blue. And if you're red, you can't be hurt by red, and if you're blue, you can't be hurt by blue. Wasn't that Japanese only at first, or like for a long time it was?
I don't know.
I think that one was, and then I think it was because it was such a hard game, because it's like a super difficult game.
Is it one of those bullet hell games? Is that what they call them?
I guess.
Okay.
I guess so.
Okay.
It's one of the ones where you're pretty much scrolling through the space in your ship, and everything's just flying at you.
Okay. Like they're just a sea of projectiles on the screen.
Yeah,
all the
pretty
time.
much.
Yeah.
But
Toho, I think makes those games. I don't know. But yeah, definitely. And our PS4s and Xbox Ones are not going to be region locked, right? Or
that's what I've heard.
Okay.
That they won't be, and that would be really cool. That way you could import your games. If you don't know, you could import your games without having to buy an imported system.
Yeah.
So it just makes it simpler. That's like
Yeah.
I believe it was PC or Japanese only, in Japan only.
Okay. Yeah, is that Toho?
I have no idea.
I can't
but,
tell. I could check it out.
There's not much else, I guess, as far as fighting games go.
Yeah,
There aren't really any.
kind of off topic.
Yeah, but there aren't too many or any other crossovers I can think of. Like you said, I'm sure there are some
Yeah.
that we haven't mentioned, and I'm sure there are a bunch that we don't really know about because they're only in Japan.
Yeah.
But as far as fighting games go, I think Tekken and Soul Calibur are probably the best as far as Namco keeps them consistent and they don't really
That's
destroy the games and come out with a ton of DLC. I can't really think of any. Like I said, I haven't really had Tekken in a while, but
Yeah.
I can't even really think of any DLC that they had. I'm sure they've had costumes, which I think everyone does now. But
But the nice thing about Tekken games is you actually don't buy it, or maybe they did have costumes in Tekken, but they give you several
yeah, you
costumes
get
in Tekken,
yeah.
and you actually get items to kind of enhance your
Yeah, the
costumes, and that's
customization.
all.
Because they didn't have that at first.
Yeah,
which
do
they
not
pretty
have
much
that
took
in
it
Capcom.
After they added it in Soul Calibur, they pretty much added that into Tekken as well. So now you can have all types of cool and crazy types of costumes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they have the uploaded stuff. If I remember, you can upload your character now too.
Oh, maybe I don't know.
I think you can, and
Okay.
you can download someone else's design because there are like a million videos on YouTube where it's like someone made a character to look like somebody else and things like that.
Oh,
And you see those
that's
like
really cool.
all over the internet.
Okay.
But moving on from crossover games, our next subject is going to be animes, sub versus dub. Now, a lot of people are obviously like really intense about whether or not they
very
like subs or
passionate
dubs.
about subs or dubs.
Me personally, I can watch either one.
Yeah.
Generally, it's however I saw it first. I prefer to watch it.
Yeah.
The three shows I've seen subbed and dubbed are Naruto, Bleach, and Soul Eater.
Okay.
Naruto because it came on Toonami, Bleach the same thing. Naruto after it went off of Toonami, I started to watch it, or even before it did, I started to watch it because I knew it was like already in Shippuden.
Yeah.
So I'd speed through it pretty much to catch up, but I'd still watch the episodes in English just to see. It was mostly just to see what dialogue they changed.
Oh, okay.
So I'd watch it, and even when it was off for like a year, and they finally brought it to Disney XD for like a month or something.
Oh, really?
It was on there for like 2 seasons, or not even 2 whole seasons. But
Yeah.
I watched it on there too, just to see what they did with the English dialogue and stuff like that.
Okay.
Bleach, I tried watching it a long time ago, but I just never really got into watching it in
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why I just didn't,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't really do it now either, unless I like miss an episode and I kind of have to watch it in Japanese.
Yeah.
And for Soul Eater, like I mentioned before we started, um, you can watch Soul Eater on YouTube because of Funimation. They put up some of their anime like all the way through, and you
Yeah.
can obviously go to their website as well. And they had like the first 4 episodes dubbed, and then it would switch to sub because you had to like upgrade. You had to have like a premium account to watch like a whole series dubbed.
Yeah.
So I just watched it subbed, and then when I got it on Blu-ray, I watched it dubbed.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as subs versus dubs in all 3 of the anime, I think it goes back and forth really. Certain characters might sound better in Japanese, and some I like dubbed only, and some I like in both. Like Naruto, I'd say Naruto, most of the characters, I swear they sound the same. They have like the same pitch almost in both English and Japanese.
Okay.
And like it works for me both ways.
Yeah, so I guess same for me too. I guess the only series, the most recent series I can think of would probably be Claymore, because you can watch anime on Hulu for free as well. It's probably the same series or the same kind of groups of series that you can find on YouTube, or Crunchyroll I think does it with commercials, but I think the first couple of episodes were either subbed or dubbed, and then they switched halfway through. I believe it's like that for Gurren Lagann as well. I think Gurren Lagann's the other series that I watched a lot subbed and a lot dubbed. And it doesn't, I guess I watch a lot of current season stuff. Like, I go to fan subgroups and watch things. So I think with the non-shonen stuff with a lot of little girl characters, hearing it in English annoys me. Not as much in Japanese, just because I don't speak the language, and in terms of the high kind of voice, the high pitched voices don't irritate me as much.
You can't completely understand it, so it's not.
Yeah.
I understand what you
And
mean.
then since you don't speak the language and you don't interact with people that speak the language, it doesn't sound weird, as opposed to someone acting, like a young adult, voice acting as a young girl might sound really weird in English. But it doesn't really bother me. I'm kind of used to reading subs now. It depends on how your reading speed is, but sometimes when I first started, or if I'm tired, sometimes I can't read fast enough, or I feel like I'm missing some information, so I'll watch it again. But for the most part, it doesn't really bother me either way, unless it depends on the type of voice actors and the type of characters being portrayed.
Yeah, the voice actors, that's obviously the most important part. I know, have you ever heard of Gintama?
The show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, Gintama is not dubbed, but they did, it's not really a movie. It was like they redid one of their arcs into a movie.
Okay.
And for some reason, that got picked up and they dubbed it. And one day it was like under like my cable on demand anime network, and it was like right when I heard about it, so I watched it and it was dubbed, and like I completely hated the voices because I was so used to the sub version. Yeah, and like some of the voices, like I hate when the characters' voices are kind of too high pitched to me, like especially when it's a guy.
Like young guys.
Have you seen Dead Man Wonderland though?
Yes, I've seen.
Okay, I thought his voice in that I thought worked, but I've heard that guy do voices in other shows, and it sounds way too high pitched to me sometimes.
He's the type of voice actor that would do something like He's not Evangelion. Maybe Shinji Ikari's voice is like that in English. I don't know. We'll have to ask Andrew when we see him. But what's the show called with the?
Baka and Test, he does a character.
Okay.
He does I like him in that. He's actually really funny in that one. It's not super high pitched to me.
Oh, and then Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. I actually like the dub
I haven't.
hands down,
I've heard.
more than the sub.
I think I've seen like one dub trailer and that was it. Like
Oh, okay.
I remember I saw that completely sub before they even did the dub for that.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually seen it.
Okay. Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's really only him too. It's like him and maybe
Yeah.
one other person.
Well, yeah.
I think I didn't like Tenshin Muyo GXP when I first heard his voice dub. I didn't like that too much.
Yeah.
It sounded a little too high pitched. But
yeah.
after like 50 episodes, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that whenever they do have like a teen character, they usually get adult voice actors to portray these teenage characters, and it sounds kind of weird. But I mean, you never know, because I feel like Rugrats didn't sound weird to me, and I'm pretty sure all those voice actors were adults. So it just depends.
Yeah,
I guess.
some anime sound just really good dubbed. Like you just get the right voice actors,
Mm-hmm.
and it all sounds great. Like the little bit that I can actually even remember from watching like old One Piece,
Mm-hmm.
I think it sounds pretty good. Even though like Luffy's voice is kind of high pitched, I think it's actually like it just
Mhm.
fits his character.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's just how a character acts. It kind of the pitch and voice kind of works with how they are as a character. And like the dub for Kakashi and Naruto, that's great to me. Yuri Lowenthal, who does Sasuke, he does like a billion characters. He's like in everything.
He does like the voices for Tales games as well.
Yeah, he's really in like almost everything. He's
Yeah,
like Sasuke, he's Ben 10. I just watched something else that he was in. Girls Bravo, which was in like 2004.
Okay.
And it sounds different because it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I was like, I could still tell it was him.
Okay.
But I think he does a really good job, and like it just depends on the voice actors. Steve Blum, I think, or Bloom, is it Blum or Bloom? I always say Steve.
B-L-O-O-M?
No, it's BLUM, but I think it could still be Bloom.
It could be Bloom depending on how you pronounce the how you pronounce the U.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
Steve Blum, because that's just what I call him. He's always a great voice actor to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's known, well, I can't say he's really known for this or that because he's a bunch of people, but he does Wolverine in pretty much anything dubbed. It's him except for when they actually did Marvel anime, and they had I can't think of his name, but he was like the main character from Heroes,
Okay.
Milo Ventimiglia.
Okay.
He dubbed him, but other than that, it's always Steve Blum, and he did Roger and Big O. He was Zabuza in Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bunch of other characters. He's Tom in Toonami.
Oh.
Originally, it was the voice actor who played Krillin, who played Tom.
Krillin from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
Was he Krillin throughout the entire series? Or did they switch up?
He was. I remember I went to a panel
Yeah.
that he was at for Youmacon last year,
Okay.
and they redid Dragon Ball Z. I guess I didn't notice this as a kid, but I think it was like after the first season,
Yeah.
they pretty much like redid the show, and what they tried to do, originally was have everyone sound like the previous voice actors, except for him. And what he said,
Mm-hmm.
what he said his inspiration was what would it sound like if Papa had a kid, and so that was his inspiration for how to do Krillin's voice.
Yeah. Oh man, that's really funny. But yeah, I'm not very good at identifying voice actors. I don't really know them from their work very well. I have some friends who can identify Japanese voice actors, which is like
Yeah,
I couldn't
don't
even
think I
do
could.
that. But yeah. What are some other ones that I've seen subbed and dubbed? Outlaw Star, I guess.
I barely remember almost.
Yeah, I don't
As
remember
far as
the
that.
entire thing, but I didn't mind that dub. But also, like you were saying, it depends on what you've seen more of. I think when you try and watch a series that you're like
It's hard to
several
just
episodes
switch
into.
back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah,
Something I've never seen dubbed or never seen subbed is I've never seen Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo, either of those subbed, but those are, like, as far as I'm concerned, those are like perfect dubs to me. I know Steve Blum, I know he plays Spike in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I've ever seen him credited in the show. So I always thought it was somebody else. It might be him in the show as well,
Okay.
or he just played Spike in the movie, but it sounded the same. So
Okay.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
But like all those voice actors, I think are done really well for Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Like all the older anime, or I guess they're the
Yeah.
classic ones.
Well, they have older characters too, so like I feel like now.
Well, yeah, adults aside from
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially if you watch like, if you're kind of really into watching current season stuff, a lot of the new stuff, the average age of the characters is much lower than it was in like the 90s or even early 2000s.
It was
So-
pretty much high school or
Yeah,
rarely early 20s.
yeah, rarely. They would be like the oldest characters.
Yeah.
Like there's this show called Valorant, which I'm watching, and which I'm sure some of the people that will see this have watched too. It's really big this season. It just ended, but I think the oldest characters maybe in this, well, not the oldest character, but the oldest character in that kind of high school group is like maybe in his 30s, probably not even like late 20s. So I think that has a lot to do with it, just in terms of.
Who characters have to play these days compared to 10 years ago, things like that.
Yeah.
This is Krillin.
I just kept it well waxed. I could have sworn I told you that. Then why did you stop doing it?
Is this DBZ
You
abridged?
just don't look like, Krillin anymore. Guess love makes you change some things.
See, so his inspiration is Popeye, and that's why he speaks like that as Krillin.
Whoa, watch out, everyone! Android 18 is here.
Okay.
Obviously, this is after Goku came back to life for like the millionth time.
I actually have seen Dragon Ball Z subbed and dubbed.
I think I have too. I know I have because I used to have
Movies and
DVD.
tracks. Yeah, same.
And, I think Dragon Ball Z is probably, it might be the only one or one of the few because it's older. But when I used to rent that on DVD, the openings were actually completely different.
Yeah, they used a
in
completely
the
different
English.
song.
Yeah, it was like completely different
Mhm.
song, and the animation. Like some of the things they showed were
That's
actually
true.
completely different too.
Yeah.
And that was for GT. I don't know if they did that for.
I
I'm
think
sure.
it's for
Actually, yeah, I
CT.
think yeah, because it was something. Yeah, it was something different about it.
Yeah.
But I think we don't get that now because everyone is more mainstream.
Yeah.
So they know that they don't really have to spend their time making a new one because everyone kind of wants the original version.
Yeah.
As best as we can have it.
Yeah.
Because obviously on Toonami they have to like edit the openings down. They're like 10 seconds long on there.
Yeah, like they
Aside
have no
from-
openings on Toonami, which
Yeah,
is
aside
what I
from-
really hated.
Aside from Bleach, because
Yeah.
I think because that's like their forerunning show. Aside from Bleach,
Mhm.
nothing else has a full opening, and Bleach doesn't have a full ending either because they went into the stills type thing where they just show random pictures and the credits are on the side, and that's about it. And
I hate that. I love openings and endings.
LFS7, I don't know if they actually did this or if it's the actual ending,
Mhm.
but it has like the same style too now. But like I said, I don't know if that's the actual ending or not.
Yeah. What I was gonna say earlier was that if a show's campy or kind of goofy, a bad dub can actually make a show better. Because I feel like at one point in time I watched, I think it's called Chromati or Chromarty High School, which is an older show. It's popular. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. But that dub's pretty bad, but the show itself is like really bad and funny. So I think that actually enhances the experience. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in there. Trying to think of other things I've seen dubbed and subbed.
I think we can do,
Yeah.
moving from anime, we can move to dub and sub video games actually. To go back to Tekken for a little bit.
Okay.
one of the things I realized was that they changed the dialogue, so now the people who are American characters speak English,
Yeah.
and everyone who's Japanese or
Speaks
German or any
Japanese,
other language,
yeah.
they speak their native language.
I think
And-
it's funny when they have dialogue between them.
Yeah, they talk back and forth.
There's
Yeah, like I guess it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is
Because you
cool.
have to consider the fact that everyone. I mean, I would assume everyone obviously understands the language.
Yeah, yeah.
So like someone understands English. Like you can do that in real life, obviously, where people say like, I know what you're saying, obviously, but I just don't. I can't say anything back to you in your
Yeah.
language.
Mhm.
So it does work, and
Mhm.
I kind of like that. I thought I'd have to pretty much pick dubbed or subbed English track for the game, but English characters speak English, Japanese characters speak Japanese, and I
you
thought it
get
was,
subtitles for those
Yeah.
characters as well.
and they have that in Street Fighter as well, where you can pick, because everyone in that, well, not everyone is Japanese, but they pretty much, it's still really Japanese based, so everything's still.
Yeah, the voice actors
Yeah,
are.
they still have full Japanese and full English for every character,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's nice to have those little options. I guess Naruto again, for all their games, the Ultimate Ninja Storm games, now you can pick the actual Japanese voice actors or pick the English voice actors.
Mhm.
And one of the cool things about that was that you could pick the English, and you could hear who would play characters that haven't been put into the dub show yet. Like for Pain and Killer Bee, like they obviously had to pick their characters and Minato and things like that.
Mhm.
So it was kind of cool that they had that option because you could just get it in advance.
Okay, have you confirmed that those characters are or those actors are portraying those characters in the series?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like they
so-
picked, yeah, they like picked the characters that they were gonna have. I think there was like one person, and I think it was Pain that they switched the people because originally, I think it was Nolan North who plays like he's Nathan Drake if you played the Uncharted games, yeah,
Okay,
and he's Desmond in the Assassin's Creed games,
Oh,
and
I
stuff
didn't know
like
that
that.
there was
Yeah.
some people.
And he plays, yeah, like he's not in, he could get into anime, I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but he's in some shows. He's actually Smokescreen in the Transformers Prime Beast Hunter show.
Okay.
And fortunately he wasn't, I thought he might get like randomly killed off or something, just 'cause he does like a lot of work, so I thought he might be on there for a little bit and then his character would like leave, but
Yeah, yeah.
he's like a main character in the show.
Oh, that's really cool.
He just did the Deadpool video game where he was
Oh,
Deadpool.
he's Deadpool?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. I haven't played that I haven't, I feel like it's Marvel's probably attempt to try and make a game that's tailored to a superhero like Batman.
Iron Man wasn't really that good. It's
Yeah,
not like Batman.
Yeah. It's not, well, nothing can,
I mean, it's not
it
open
would
world.
be,
It's,
yeah, it's not open
linear,
world, it's mission based, I believe. I kind of want to play it because there are X-Men characters in it, and I love X-Men.
yeah,
But I don't want to
um,
spend like $60 for a game that's kind of okay.
yeah, they have. I know Wolverine, Psylocke, Cable, and some other people are in it.
Domino, maybe. I think it's like the X-Force people, probably.
As far as video games being subbed and dubbed, I guess I've never really considered whether I need a game subbed or
Yeah,
dubbed.
I usually just use whatever
Whatever
audio
standard,
track.
yeah.
Standard.
But I think it's either way for games, kind of like how anime is, except it's a little different for me. And I don't really know why. I guess because I can kind of just sort of fly through a game, and with anime you kind of have a set time. Like you
Yeah.
can't get through an episode faster than any other human on the planet. You
Yeah,
have to
nobody
watch it.
watches
Yeah.
like One Piece and fast forward to catch up.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. There's probably somebody that does that, but yeah, most people do not. I think.
So,
Go ahead.
well, I was just looking at this video. This is with Nolan North. It's by IGN. He's impersonating Mario, Kratos, and some other characters. And I'll put this link in the description. So.
It's all
Okay, see, that's him.
That's Nathan
No,
Drake.
it belongs in a museum. To me, Uncharted. Oh, okay. I know this one. I'm gonna kill you, Brucey boy.
And so that was him as Cameron from Arkham
Okay.
City.
I didn't realize you were the penguin until afterwards when Greg told me. Well, that's
And he also plays a character
goal is to
in The Last of Us, but I won't spoil who it is
it's a good line.
if anyone's playing The Last of Us. I won't spoil it.
Which character is that?
Space Force from Portal 2.
Characters you played this year. We also wanted to hear how you would sound playing some of the other famous video game characters. So characters Nolan North hasn't played. But we basically, I mean, ideally, Nolan North by the end of our lives will be the voice of every character in every video game. So male, female, or otherwise. Every goal. You'll even play the background, trees, power-ups.
Oh, Mark Hamill retired as the Joker.
Yeah.
I do it in Japan.
That's what he said.
That's how it works. I do know this one. Yeah, this is a pretty famous line from a pretty famous character. It's me, Mario. I even do the music. You see that? Yeah, he's gonna do the whole thing. So you're like the human. I got it. No barrel roll. I don't know what that's
Oh, yeah, Peppy from Star
No
Fox.
barrel roll. No barrel roll. No barrel roll. Hey, hold on. Do it again. No barrel roll. No barrel roll. There we go. Now, press C or R twice. Press C or R twice. I love it's not doing, Slippy, or who is it, Slippy? Yeah,
It's-
yeah. No,
It's Peppy.
Peppy.
Who
I love
is
that he doesn't know Peppy, he's just impersonating you doing Peppy. Yeah, I actually did the voice of Peppy. I'm doing him doing Peppy. Yeah, I'm actually your father. This next one is pretty famous. That's very funny. Oh, right. This is what he does on games. What's his own thing? You're off script, Nolan. Oh, here we go. You dare stand against me, Athena? There he goes, right? I did the biggies. For the first game. Then they replaced me. This is a great one. This is how everybody famous violent play. And this is a famous Japanese game. No, it's very American. Very violent. One of the American. Lots. This is American. Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Fatality. Finish him. Flawless victory. There we go. See, I thought it was Japanese. It'd be like, fatality. Finish him. Flawless victory. Is that your, is that how they talk about that? That they do when they speak English. That's how they call them. Men, women, and children. So we also want when the dogs bark, they go bark, bark, bark. That's a Japanese dog. A lot of people don't know that. We have a bonus round. Yeah, nice. This isn't a video game character, but we want you to take over movies too. Yeah, that's true. Oh, right. Well, this is from the Arkham City series, but this is a different one. Swear to me! Swear to me! Christian Bale, you're on notice. Christian Bale is on notice. I'm sure he's shaking in his boots. I also wanted to hear you say, "Oh, good for you." I don't know if you ever saw his freak out video. Oh yeah, that's. Oh, good for you. We're trying to work here, man. Yeah, that's almost like Al Pacino. Hey, after a hard day of acting at the top of my voice. That's weird, my friend. Daniel Bryan. Wow. You guys are like two little mongooses. I love that. You're like ferrets. Some type of rodent. This guy is taking over the world. He's going to be in everything, and today you can see why. Actually, I'm probably never going to get out of this room. Yeah, we're just going to stay here and listen to the decorated voices for plastic plants, globes that don't have North America, pictures of Victor Sullivan, Elena's boobs. Where are those? Anyway, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for coming by the office today. Hey man, appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm giving you a hug. Oh, I'm getting a hug. You're getting a hug. Well, me. Make sure to catch Nolan in his next game. It will be hard to miss. I'm sure 10 games come out this week that not have Nolan. The goal is you don't know him in. I may change my name. I may change my name. Later.
Oh yeah, that's Nolan North doing a bunch of different characters. I'll probably edit that part out.
Yeah.
Do like